Thank you everyone. Thanks ladies and gentlemen for coming along. Thanks to the organisers, Phil and team, great job, great event. The first time I've been involved in a company presenting here since 2019 actually, and that was in a company, Caspin Resources, and I didn't realise it at the time, but we're on the verge of being taken out by Oz Minerals. Very successful outcome for all our shareholders. And I feel like Caspin is at another sort of pivotal time in its career, in its growth stage as well, perhaps not necessarily from a takeover point of view, but certainly on a new trajectory with some of the results that we've seen from our Bygoo Tin Project in 2026. Now, this presentation has been lodged. I'm actually going to provide just a bit of a cut-down version of it this morning in the interests of time. I'm going to start off by just talking about copper for a second, believe it or not, and that's because most people actually out there have very little idea about the value of tin. Tin is a high value metal. It trades roughly 3.5 to 4 times the copper price. More or less moves in lockstep over the last 10 years. So when you're looking at some of the tin grades I'm going to talk about, I want you to think about that in a copper equivalent, and then you start to see the value proposition that our Bygoo project and Caspin Resources presents. Now, interestingly, it has been a challenging sort of time for copper and for gold for that matter over the last 12 months, well, let's say 6 months. But meanwhile, tin has just been chugging along doing its thing, pretty much flying underneath the radar, currently trading near all-time highs. I think it's $53,500 US a tonne this morning. So a high value metal. Tin is the original critical mineral. It's been the most original critical mineral since the Bronze Age, in fact. It's been stockpiled after world wars, always been part of technology. And the price drivers for tin at the current time is very much supply and demand. Supply comes from numerous third world jurisdictions or developing countries, reasonably limited sort of sophistication, but demand is always growing. If you believe in the electrification thematic, of which copper is certainly that, then tin is also a very important component of that thematic. So data centres, new solar technology, EV growth, we've already talked about EV growth this morning, all that requires tin. It's in everything. There's no substitution. The substitution for tin has already happened. We took lead out of solder a decade, 2 decades ago, so there's no substitution. It's a very important technology metal. So our Bygoo Tin Project in central New South Wales, just on the edge of the Riverina. Caspin has had this project for 2 years now. We established our maiden resource in September last year, reasonably substantial, just under 20,000 tonnes of contained tin at 0.5%. So remember that conversion. So this is a sort of an equivalent, almost getting close towards 2% copper. Very much in an open pit mining scenario. We're exploring near surface. We'll look at that some more in a second. But most of our work through 2026 has been about growing that resource. We've done some met work, and we'll also cover that. So this is what the resource looks like. It's essentially in 3 parts at the current juncture, and that's really a function of the limitation of drilling. And the limitation of drilling has been mostly around the fact that most of the work is focused on historical workings. So where mineralisation has come to surface. And so this area, Bygoo Project, part of the Ardlethan mineral field, a well-established tin producing region, the Wagga Tin Belt, stretches over 200 kilometres in sort of southern New South Wales, all the way to the Victorian border. So a long history of tin production. But because of the history of the tin price, and I encourage you to study this, it's a fascinating story, but the tin price absolutely collapsed in the mid-1980s. And that basically led to no exploration for tin for, well, since then, since the mid-80s. So almost 4 decades. But the world's come along a long way. And so this is This is a fantastic exploration opportunity for us, simply because nobody has gone looking for this for such a long period of time. Now, most of our work has been focused on growing this resource, filling those gaps that you can see either side of the resource that's sort of in between those optimised shells. The resource is reported in an optimised shell, goes down about 190 metres, so it's still very much within open pit depths. We're basically exploring along that pink surface there. That's the granite contact, that's the preferred host rock. And we've had some success, and most recently our Errol's discovery, a fantastic new discovery in a zone where there was no previous drilling, hiding between two lobes of the resource. Interestingly, the Errol zone, as we call it, great work by a geological team to recognise this potential structure in the geophysics. Very little surface, so we've had to go and explore it with the drill bit. And we've been sort of following the structure in a down plunge position. And 2 weeks ago came back with Caspin's best ever drill result in the project. And the third best result in the resource itself, 20 metres at just over 2% tin. A fantastic resource grade. And that comes on the back of a number of other significant results. We've done some more drilling in this area, so there's more results to come. There's about 20 holes of our most recent program still to come back. But that gives us a lot of confidence that when we go to upgrade our resource late in the September quarter, we're going to see some substantial growth. And it's all going to be in an open pit environment. That result in hole 55, 20 metres at 2%, less than 100 metres below surface. So very much open pittable depths. And so that's fantastic, and what's even more important is actually being able to get the metal out of the rock. The tin mineralisation is hosted in cassiterite. You use the geophysical properties of cassiterite to help the separation. We've done 2 sort of phases of met work. Importantly, gravity separation is an important component of any kind of metal tin processing. You use the density of cassiterite to separate it from the lighter gangue minerals. We can recover almost 60% of the mineralisation through simple gravity separation techniques, spirals, tables, that sort of stuff, the sort of thing you see in mineral sands processing, which works pretty well. Where gravity separation struggles is with the fine tin. So we've done some flotation test work, and we can recover another 20% of the metal through that tin flotation process to get an overall recovery over 80%. Now, this exercise started out as a bit of a de-risking exercise, but what we've actually recognised is that it's a competitive advantage. Any tin processing operation anywhere in the world operates at about 75 to 80% recovery. So at this early stage, to be able to get those sort of recoveries for this project is a fantastic advantage for us. Now, on top of this, every other tin project in the world also uses ore sorting to some extent. We know that ore sorting will work on our project as well, and I dare say it'll be part of a processing solution. So that's great. We're going to do a resource update in September. I think we're going to try and aim to get our resource up around in the 30,000 contained tonnes of tin. But how do we get it to 50, 100,000? How do we restore the Ardlethan field to its former glory, the largest mainland producer of tin in the country? Well, we've got a number of other exploration targets. The Moss prospect, just 1,000 metres north of Kelpie, has a similar geochemical response. We've done some drilling there, and we're going to follow up with some more drilling in August. And not to mention, we're also drilling on the doorstep of the Ardlethan tin mine. Now, this was a large tin producer, produced over 30,000 tonnes of tin over a 20-year period, and we're doing some drilling on our tenement boundary goes right up to the pit edge. A fantastic area. Hard to believe that there hasn't been any exploration in this area for decades. Now, if you don't understand any of that, let's look at a peer comparison. And if you want to invest in tin, in a tin developer on the ASX, this is it. This is the universe. There's some other explorers out there, but these are all the tin companies with a significant resource looking at development. There's not many. Now, admittedly, Caspin is one of the earlier companies on that pathway, but geez, we also represent the best value. We've got a market capitalisation. Those bubbles represent relative market capitalisation. We've got a market capitalisation at the current juncture of just over $30 million. I think this shows where our valuation is going. I would argue that our project stacks up very comparably to some of our peers. A fantastic project. So lastly, just to wrap it up, a significant tin resource. We're going to upgrade that resource in September. I think our exploration results demonstrate our confidence in that resource update. We know that we're going to get, we can recover the metal. That's a fantastic result for us. And the supply-demand fundamentals for tin are excellent. So ladies and gentlemen, I can encourage you to have a look at Caspin, and we can come and talk about it in more detail out in the booth just outside. Thank you.
Thank you.